I'm going to be doing a live demonstration of how we extend a location intelligence application in the Salesforce optimization world to the mobile Salesforce. Here we're going to show how this type of location analytics and location intelligent platform can enhance your Salesforce optimization in your data in your CRM database and other sort of databases throughout your organization, and how that can be put in the hands of the mobile Salesforce. So how can the boots on the ground utilize this information in this type of platform to better do their job in a most efficient way. So what I'm going to show you is via a mobile device, say an iPad or a tablet, how we can visualize targets for a specific sales territory. I'll log in as a salesperson, and you'll see their specific territory. You'll be able to display their targets visualized by multiple different types of displays, whether that's by location on the map, clustered out based on the zoom level you're seeing, and then also by stylized and thematically represented by different target types, whether that is for this specific case study in a pharmaceutical environment. We're talking about targeting doctors. We're talking about doctors that in a subtype of doctors that might be a generalist or a specialist, or targeting pharmacies and different levels of pharmacies, whether that's a compounding pharmacy or a retail pharmacy. You also see how tabular data can be represented through the mobile device, how we can sort of see the classic spreadsheet view of contact information for these different targets. I'll show you a couple of the tools involved with this implementation for filtering and searching targets by the different types of dimensions of the data. So things like target type, doctor, things like subtype, the subtype of the doctor, the subtype of that target. And also by our sales opportunity progression workflow metrics that we have in our CRM system for our organization. Things like a new contact, things like a first visit, second visit, a workflow of our sales opportunity progression, how we can filter the visual view across the different displays, whether that's the map view or the tabular view, based on these sort of tools. I'll show you a little bit of how you can use the application to do planning of your daily activities based on, again, all those different dimensions that we're seeing: target type, target subtype, sales opportunity progression. And we can add a scheduling into that. So I want to visit these contacts this day, these contacts another day. And then I'll show just a quick sort of charting and dashboarding of some sales activity that is nice to have for the distributed workforce. Because of the GoToMeeting webinar, we're going to use an iPad emulator. So this is emulating a mobile device that we are going to show the mobile intelligence platform. So I'm going to log in. So I'm logging in as I was a specific user, specific salesperson, and I will see my specific targets and my specific data. So now just to set up what we're seeing right now, I just want to click on a couple of setup things to get us going. Now, I will say this case study is for localized in the Paris region of France, so there are some data elements that will be in French for this implementation in this specific case study. We're seeing a visual display on the iPad. We've got a map display, we've got sort of a tabular display with a number of tabs on it, things for all, let's see, all contacts, search results, in export, way to make little lists, the planning, the calendar application, in these charting and dashboard apps that we can see. So we're seeing a number of contacts in a tabular view. This can be hidden. We've got sort of the standard mapping interface where if I do a click on the map, I'm going to zoom in, that we've come to know on the mobile platforms. And as you see, you're starting to see some of these visualizations that I'll get into. You've got your sorted standard, changing the base maps of the representations. If I want to see a satellite view, I'm interested in what is going on in that area based on the plane and whatnot. So we've got these different data elements throughout the application that we're seeing. We've got a number of tools and widgets. So there's tools for searching. This is searching for a specific contact name, say, searching for a specific address. A geolocalization, which is going to locate yourself based on where you are. Now I'm going to click on this just to show you that we're actually doing this live. This is where I'm sitting. This is West 23rd Street, New York City. So now I'll just go back to our location for the demo for this specific subject matter in the pharma industry. So we're seeing a bunch of circles and numbers on the map. These are clusters of data points. We've got 455 available targets in this salesperson zone. You can see the green outline. The green outline here represents this specific salesperson's sales territory. So there's available of 55 targets that fall within this sales region. This would be the extension of that Salesforce optimization from the sales territory management that we spoke of earlier in a previous web. So we've got these contacts on the map, and we're seeing things clustered. So if I click on, based on the spatial display, if I zoom in, that clustering starts to dissipate. If I click on a cluster, you'll actually see. So it's a clustering algorithm that's based on distance to just clean the display a little based on what we're seeing. So I'm going to zoom just sort of out and go through a couple of the different data elements, and then go through the couple of the workflows of how we want to direct our target marketing and target sales effort to specific industry-specific contact types we have in our organization across a range of sales opportunity metrics. So as I see, there's the number of the different varying displays we've got. We've got the map display. So if I zoom in, and then we've got the tabular display. If I click on a specific row in the tabular display, you're going to get more information on that. Data from the CRM, we're going to get contact information, address, phone number, ability to launch into a street view, ability to do notes. You can save that off. And there is a number of other sort of tools and widgets we see here. Now, if I click on an element in the map, we're going to see the same display. We're going to see the visual representation of the contact information. So that's the multiple ways to sort of access that same data. So now I want to go in and talk about sort of filtering, how I want to filter this data, how I want to be able to, all right, I am looking at a lot of data, a lot of targets, 455 targets in my area for this salesperson, but I've got different data dimensions. I've got the ability to filter through a standard set of widgets that we've built that can be customizable on different types of data from our CRM system, from our contacts. What targets are we targeting here? So we've got a target type of pharmacy for this specific industry, a target type of doctor. Well, those are sort of broad categories, and we want to direct certain actions to certain ones. And then we've got subcategories within those. Category 1 would say maybe a specialist in a specific pharmaceutical treatment we're looking at. Category 2 could be more of a general practitioner. Same thing with pharmacies, the different types of pharmacies. So I'm just going to go and filter. You're seeing no information here. There's none viewable right now because I've got all my filters turned off. I'm going to go to category 1 doctor. So say this would be a specialist. Now as you see, I can turn all my filters off. If I turn them all off, now these are my sales progression activities. So these are metrics and workflow steps from my CRM system that I've determined of how I'm going to operate my sales force. These are nomenclatures for not visited, initial visit, second visit, third visit, additional, so forth and so on, just so we can get sort of that workflow of our sales progression and our sales opportunities. So you see, we're still seeing no data because I've got all the subcategories off. If I turn all the subcategories on, start zooming in, you're going to see data that is thematically represented both in the map view as well as in the table view based on the filtering category. So it's being stylized and represented based on data from the backend data system. So things like the blue category 1 with a V0, that means this is someone that we have visited before. We get things that we've got not visited. We've got this multiple display, which if I click on, you'll see that we actually have multiple contact information at this one location. So we can display data on multiple dimensions there. So I think what I'm going to do is just walk through a case study of how we can, so as you see, I'll just do quickly, you see as we filter and not filter, the map updates, the tabular data updates, and we can see the different types of information based on what we're filtering our categories on. So I'm going to turn all the filters off and then just go into workflow of, all right, I'm looking at areas, I'm looking at doctors of category 1, this specialist for this treatment that I'm looking to target as a sales professional in this specific area. So you see, I've got 36 in my entire region that are category 1 that I've not visited yet. That was the category. I want to go and make contact with these targets. So I'll just sort of hide some of the filters, and I can zoom to all. Now we zoomed out at a high level. If I start zooming in, we start to see the specific locations of these. If I click on a specific, I can get the information from the tabular view and zoom right to them if I want on there. I can also zoom back out to the full extent, if you will. So as I see, I'm looking at, all right, I've got sort of some clusters of some data, some clusters of some targets that I want to view, and I maybe I'll start planning my sales day. So I can go into this and start to view different types of data, obviously, and I can then create a planning and do it as sort of an export off of these. So if I want to do now, I can create a specific list that I want to view later. So I've created an export that is the 36 specific ones I've filtered. So if I go into that export, if I zoom back out, you'll see. But now if I go in and I've got a number of various contacts that I would like to start to plan my sales activities by, we'll say. So you can see I've got these numbers sort of in view from where I am right now. So if I want to do a plan, so if I want to add these to today, I can start going in and clicking on specific contacts from the map view, and you'll get a little message that this contact has been added to planning for that day. Now I'm going to finish and return back, and you'll see these are the contacts in which I've added for the specific for today. Now if I want to go in and plan later in the week, I can start adding contacts from a different area, we'll say. Now these are all data that has been filtered by the target type, the target subtype, and also that sales progression activity. So if I go into, all right, what does my day look like later in the week? I can zoom in, and all right, these are the contacts I'm visiting that day. And then I can go back in where are my contacts I'm visiting for this day. And I see not only the updates on the map, but then I also see the tabular data where I can go in again, click, all right, visit on Wednesday. Very important. Little notes for myself, and then I can go in and then I can see those categories, those specific notes I've done in this sort of calendar view for what I've done for today. So you can see it allows you to plan out your sales day both temporally through the calendar and then also spatially. Where am I going to be certain days, and where am I going to be able to make contact with the specific industry types, the specific doctors, the specific pharmaceutical treatment providers for this targeted area, and ones for that match up with my sales operations for the day as far as have I visited them once, this initial call, my planning aspects of it. So just as a little review, so we've got the filters on, we've got the ability to do the different scheduling and create the lists and do the analysis of our data dimensions of our CRM system and our Salesforce system that's been optimized previously, and being able to update that and plan out as we go along right on your mobile device. And finally, the third is just sort of the chart. So we're looking at the different categories that we saw, the different filtering types, the subtypes of Category 1 provider, and just looking at some various sort of charts and graphs and metrics that allow us to sort of just get a little dashboard view of our sales targeting activity based on who this specific salesperson is.